Revenge films.
I love my sister, and I couldn't be more proud of her. I have been close with her since we were kids, and she's always had my back. She looks like our father, while I took after my mother. So we don't really look alike. And my sister has been bullied in the past because of the way she looks. People always compared us to each other, but my sister never became jealous or subservient. I've always thought that she was an amazing, selfless, and humble person. So I felt like she was way more attractive than me. And besides, I don't like it when men try to approach me just because I look pretty. But anyway, when my sister was 20 years old, she finally started dating her first boyfriend. He was 5 years older than her, and I had the chance to meet him early on in their relationship. When I went to the cafe to have coffee with them, I saw my sister, her boyfriend, and one of their friends sitting at a table together. To be honest with you, my sister's boyfriend, Kuzuo, left a terrible first impression on me that day. Apparently, he would always make up random excuses and make my sister pay for everything when they went out on dates together. It almost seemed like Kuzuo was using my sister as an ATM machine. But his friend, on the other hand, he seemed like a really nice person. His name was Shota, and when my sister went to the register to pay for everyone's drinks, he offered to pay instead. He was handsome, kind, and polite. Sure, he might not be super rich or anything, but I didn't notice a single bad thing about him that day. He was such a nice person that I left the cafe that day wondering why my sister wasn't dating Shota instead. But Kuzuo was her first boyfriend, and I didn't want to ruin their relationship by telling her to break up with him. And a couple of days later, when I was out in the city with my friends, I saw Kuzuo walking down the street while holding hands with a woman I didn't recognize. They sure seemed like they were in love with each other, and I thought about telling my sister about what I saw, but I didn't know if she was actually being cheated on. And more importantly, I didn't want to upset her. And so I kept this information to myself for a while. But when I got home from work a couple of days later, I saw my sister crying in her room. When I asked her why she was crying, she told me that her boyfriend had cheated on her and called her ugly. I guess she was shocked by what happened because she became depressed after that incident. I was pissed off by the way Kuzuo had treated her, so I immediately went to go and find him. And the next day, I found Kuzuo sitting on the bench with the same woman that he was with the other day. They were flirting with each other, but I went straight up to him and asked him this. How dare you hurt my sister? Who do you think you are?
Huh? You're her sister, aren't you? Well, why does it matter to you? We're not dating anymore, so could you just leave me alone?
I can't believe you would cheat on my sister with this woman. My sister is way prettier than her. And don't you feel bad for hurting her feelings?
Well, the only reason I was dating her was because she was always willing to pay for my food. But I realized that she doesn't deserve me. She's too ugly, you know?
What did you just call my sister?
I called her ugly, all right? And you can't blame me for dating someone that's more attractive than her.
You're the worst person that I've ever met in my life. Karma is real, and you're going to regret this one day.
Yeah, well, I doubt that's ever gonna happen.
I couldn't believe what he was saying. I felt my blood boiling, but it wasn't like I could change his mind or anything. His mind had already been made up, and arguing with him was just a waste of time. And for a couple of weeks after that, my sister refused to come out of her room. My parents were getting worried about her, but that's when things started to change. After finding out about what happened between Kuzuo and my sister, Shota called me and told me that he was worried about her. I could tell that he cared deeply about her, and I started to think that he was into her. And so, I decided to cut to the chase and asked him how he felt about my sister. And that's when he started to tell me everything about his relationship with and feelings towards my sister. He first found out about her when Kuzuo bragged to him about how he had found someone that he could easily manipulate. From that alone, you can just tell that Kuzuo never loved my sister to begin with. That's why Shota began to worry about my sister and her relationship with Kuzuo. He decided to hang out with her more often to make sure that she wasn't being mistreated by her boyfriend. It was clear that Shota was a kind person that cared deeply about my sister's well-being, so I decided to invite my sister to go and have lunch with him. They hit it off immediately, and the more they saw each other, the more interested they became in each other. And so, after 6 months of going on dates together, they officially started dating. Shota's currently helping his parents run a restaurant they own. They fell ill a couple of years ago, and that's when he decided to quit his job to help with the family business. But now that his parents are back to their full strength, he's trying to find another job that pays better. I knew that my dad could help him out in this regard, so I immediately reached out to him. My parents were shocked and furious when they found out that Kuzuo had been cheating on my sister. They were worried about her well-being for a while, and so when Shota helped her get back on her feet, they grew very fond of him. And because of that, my father immediately decided to let him join his company. Shota and my sister loved each other very much, and because my family supported their relationship, it didn't take long for them to get married. But when Kuzuo found out that Shota had gotten a job at my father's company, he called me out of the blue and asked to talk with me. I knew that he was up to no good again, but I didn't want him to bother my sister anymore, so I decided to meet him and see what he had to say. And when I walked into the restaurant where we were supposed to meet, Kuzuo was already there waiting for me at one of the tables.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, about Shota, obviously. He got a job at a very prestigious firm, right? And when I looked into the company, I found out that your father is the current CEO of that company. Why didn't you tell me that your sister was the daughter of a big-time CEO? If I had known that, I wouldn't have broken up with her.
God, he's literally the worst, isn't he? My gut was filled with rage once again, and I started to regret agreeing to see him.
But anyway, you have to help me get back together with Miyuki. I can definitely make her happy, and I don't think Shota is the right man for her. And now that I think about it, Miyuki is pretty cute, isn't she? I don't know why I broke up with her to begin with. But anyway, this should be a win-win for all of us, don't you think?
I couldn't believe my ears. What he was saying was so absurd that I instinctively grabbed the cup of water that was on the table and threw it right at him. What the hell are you talking about? You really think you deserve my sister? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke?
What the hell do you think you're doing? It's not a joke. I'm way more attractive than Shota, and Miyuki was in love with me, too. She'd be happier with me.
You think she hasn't moved on already? I don't even think she remembers you at this point. She's madly in love with Shota now, so there is no way that she is going to get back together with you. Now, goodbye. And after saying that, I left the restaurant in a hurry. Kuzuo was at a loss for words, and he didn't say anything back to me. I felt much better about myself after doing that. Like I said, my sister is in a healthy relationship with Shota now. They're hosting their wedding in a few months, and my sister is very close with Shota's family as well. Shota is also an excellent employee at my father's company, and he's well respected by all of his coworkers. All things considered, I say that their relationship is almost perfect. And so, there is nothing Kuzuo can do at this point to ruin their relationship. But Kuzuo is a persistent man and wasn't going to give up easily. He went to Shota a couple of days later and told him to break up with my sister. He insisted that she would be happier with him, but Shota was having none of it. He was never a big fan of Kuzuo, especially because he knew how Kuzuo had been mistreating my sister while they were dating. And so, he got a few good punches in and warned him to never approach him or my sister ever again. And so, we never saw him again after that. But apparently, Kuzuo never gave up on getting back together with my sister. He even quit his job because he was convinced that he could get a job at my father's company. But my sister kept on ignoring him, and he ended up homeless after getting kicked out of his company apartment. He thought that he was going to be able to live out the rest of his life luxuriously, but I guess he was wrong. He doesn't have the means to survive anymore, and because he doesn't have any friends, there's no one he can rely on. I knew that he was going to regret treating my sister like crap one day. It was probably easy for him to manipulate my sister because she had never been in a relationship before. But I'm glad she was able to find someone that is right for her.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.